a sum of repair. It's taken into consideration, and then it's divided per unit, right? If there's 500 units in the building, everybody pays a portion of that, right? And you know, it could be a lump sum of 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, right? Like I have seen. All right, so we know new construction condos are already sinking like a brick, not only in Toronto, but in Toronto GTA. But I want to talk to you about maintenance fees. And yes, when purchasing a condo, most people are obviously looking at the maintenance fees. They're relying on that maintenance fee to be low. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so when purchasing that particular unit, obviously you want those maintenance fees to be as low as possible because that's the ongoing cost and it will eat into your monthly expense, right? Whether you live in it or whether you are actually renting it out, that maintenance fees is always paid by the owner or the landlord. So keep that in mind. But if you do the math properly, all right? So the pace that these towers were actually built and developed and how fast everything was going in the peak and all of that stuff, right? It was crazy. It was crazy. Like it feels like, you know, you don't pass a certain block in a month and you already see a tower come up, right? So when speaking to also these construction people that have the know-how and all of that stuff, right? And even visiting some of these condos, aside the fact that they're shoeboxes, most of them are not livable and they were catered to a, I would say, investor, right? They would put somebody in there, they will rent it. That person is usually an individual, a professional. They would bounce from work into that condo and everybody's happy, right? So also adding that Airbnb aspect that most of the buildings literally cut it overnight and that's not an option anymore, right? But, you know, investors and speculators were betting on that heavily. Airbnb, rental, immigration, professionals renting and all of that stuff. But now let's talk about the maintenance fees that not a lot of people talk about, right? And I believe when looking in these towers, like when you walk through some of these towers, right? Okay, craftsmanship, it's not there. It's just not. It looks nice, modern looking and all of that stuff, but it's just not there, right? And then most of the time, because these units are so small and really you get nothing in the units. Like if you realize like these kitchens are getting smaller and smaller in these units, and even these appliances are getting smaller and smaller. Like some of these ranges look like a microwave. Like I'm like, are you kidding me? Like some of these fridges look like like what can you physically place in a fridge like that? Like it was just mind-boggling. But aside from all of that, the amenities are so over the top. Like I have seen home theaters, bowling alleys, climbing walls. I don't know, like a golf course, mini putts around the building, right? I have seen guest rooms. I have seen so much stuff and it feels like a 5-star resort. However, when we get to a point when some of these things need repair, assistance, or when they need to be fixed at the end of the day, right? So the cost goes back to the owners, right? To the building, it goes back to them. So there are two choices, right? One, they will increase that monthly rate, and it's usually in your starter certificate. However, if there's a bigger problem, right? Not only with amenities, it could be a problem with heating, it could be a problem with plumbing. Accidents do happen, could be a problem with underground parking, right? You could see easily a special assessment on a condo. So what does that mean? That means that that particular problem is assessed and the actual sum of repair, it's taken into consideration, and then it's divided per unit, right? If there's 500 units in the building, everybody pays a portion of that, right? And you know, it could be a lump sum of 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, right? Like I have seen some lump sums in $50,000, right? So that's something that I believe down the road will definitely affect the actual price, and it will affect how these condos behave. I mean, we are already in a problem with all of these condos as is, right? There's no more investors. There's people are in a deficit, right? Like 81% of Toronto investors today are writing a deficit of more than $600 a month, right? So some are 600, that's the average. Some could be 1,000, some could be 2,000, right? So a case that I had from a client, like her friend, she called me, she's like, look, a monthly cost to move into my condo is $4,800, right? And we estimated that we could rent her condo for about, you know, $2,300, $2,400. I'm like, that's 50% less, right? And that's a brand new condo, right? So imagine something for a second. In a few years, right, 5 years, let's say these maintenance go up from $450, they go up to $600, right? And they will go up regardless if your building is brand spanking new. It just does. It happens, right? Because of inflation, the magical word, because of the maintenance around the building, and they constantly have to fix something, right? Constantly. Even though the things are brand new, but just imagine the pressure between, for example, that building, right, that tower there, and then this tower here, right? So this is a low rise, 6 floors or 8 floors, and then you have like a 30, 40 floor tower there, right? Like, you know, the pressure on elevators and everything that comes with having a lot of people in a place, right? The wear and tear. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has to be fixed. So please do not try to avoid these older towers or older buildings, right? Like some of these condos are bigger, right? They're better built. And even though at this point, they're like it seems like that the maintenance fee is so much higher. So let me give you a quick calculation. So you're looking at a condo, I'll give you a specific number, $1,200 for maintenance fees a month. So everybody off the bat would tell me, nope, I don't want to see that. It's too expensive. Doesn't make any sense. Hold on a second. $1,200, 2 parking spots, all right? Everything is included, all the utilities, water, gas, heat, air conditioning, central and everything else, right? Internet is also included. TV is also included. So what are you really paying? Now, if you divide that by the size of the condo, and that condo is about 1,350 square feet, right? Okay, so now if we go to a condo that's 650 square feet, they pay $500 for maintenance in a brand new tower, right? $500. They still have to pay for all the utilities. They still have to pay for internet. They still have to pay for the TV, and they have 650 square feet. On top of that, 1 parking or no parking, right? In the other scenario, we had 2 parking spots. Plus, please do not forget, calculate, right? In these situations, in most of the time, right? Most of the time, well, like 90% of the time, these older towers, the taxes are less, right? So for the big 1,350 square foot in an older tower, the taxes were around $2,500 a year annually, right? With this small condo, we're talking close to $4,000. So however you slice it, it doesn't really make any sense, right? So that's why I believe that these condos, these newer condos, will see a huge shift when it comes to craftsmanship, when it comes to maintenance fees, when it comes to the ongoing cost, and these prices will not be stable in the future. So that is my prediction. I hope you gained something valuable from this particular video, and I'll see you in the next one.